Timing. What's up? Welcome back. Dota Pit Season 5. We're in the CIS Qualifiers. We got Navi going up against Virtus.Pro Game 2, and no one's making any bans. Please don't disconnect. Hopefully everything is going to be okay. I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by Drag and Drop for this second game, and dude, the first game was pretty chaotic, pretty much exactly what I would expect. Is there anything that, like, Navi did wrong that cost them a game, or was it just Virtus.Pro playing too well?
Kind of mix of both. Navi, I feel like they were a little bit too slow on executing their timing, right? You have a Chen, but you don't really get all the tier 1 towers down in the first 10 minutes or so, or 10-15 minutes. And after that, it just gets harder and harder with the kind of lineup that Virtus.Pro had, with this kind of 5-man death ball that evolved into, with like the DK in the front, tank and everything, some healers in the back, then PA just jumping and somebody bursting them down. It was just a really good timing winner that Virtus.Pro hit with the items here, despite all this chaos. Navi haven't been able to execute their strat, they haven't been able to slow Virtus.Pro down enough. So, I don't know, it kind of goes back a little bit to the draft and the execution. For me, it's, yeah, just didn't quite fit together for Navi.
That's always rough when you have a draft that kind of plays itself in the early game, like your goals are very clear, and you're still not able to play proactive enough. Like, it's not too uncommon where you have like a more late gamey type draft, and then they have like a Nyx assassin, and that's like your one guy, your one go-to in order to slow down the opponents, and you just can't enough, and then it just doesn't turn out well. And then it's like, yeah, that's kind of the weakness of your draft. But when the strength of your draft is early game pressure, still not able to make that happen, then you have a little bit of a concern. You have to kind of just change gears, but can they really change gears and still stay in their comfort zone? It seems like that last draft was just like pure Navi. You're gonna get the Sand King.
Yeah.
You have a Chen on art style. You have a Snake with an Oracle. He played magnificently, but at the end of the day, it's just an Oracle. So I'm not really sure if they can adapt to that type of play style while still being comfortable playing heroes and styles that they would actually want to play. They're gonna start things off with the Sand King, and you know, I think this is a pretty decent way to start, and after the last game, where they lost with it.
Well, Jen was playing very well though. I think he did what he needed to do. Just other factors at work that's made that not be enough as well, but it's a solid hero. Once again, I generally disagree with picking him up first, but I guess that's an Navi thing. They're just so confident in General's ability to make it work in any game that I'm not too worried about it. But Virtus.Pro, well, they pick two heroes that are very strong. Mirana first, together with the Slaughter. Both of those have stuns that are not targeted, so they can deal with the Sandstorm if we see another early point into this game. Yeah, actually this is very scary opener for VP.
It looks like a very tempo-based opening, kind of shades of what Navi were trying to do in the last game. You know, rotate all the time, get kills all the time, and pretty much just never ever let up. So if I'm Navi, if I'm looking at this, I'm already thinking, what core can I possibly pick up for Dichira that will not be punished by this type of super aggro play style? Who can I pick up that will actually be ready to fight once Slaughter and Mirana come knocking at the front door? Of course, that's going to be coming up probably 4th or 5th. But at least that's the safest way to go. You got to scope out the field, and it looks like VP are playing that aggressive style. Navi going to hit the break a little bit, getting the Dazzle over the Oracle, who is also still in the pool. Weave is certainly going to be a big tool here for the Navi side going up against Slaughter, but I'm not really sure if I like Dazzles just like without OD first pick. Like OD Dazzle, that up 1 and 2, I'm down with that. Sand King Dazzle, I feel like you could do a little better, even if you are going up against Mirana and Slaughter and their focus fire.
There's no big obvious synergies here. Obviously, having a defensive support like that is going to be helpful. Just laid down with Weave, as I said, up against the Slaughter minus armor and whatnot. The Shallow Grave can be very useful, and I don't think Virtus.Pro have too much room in for an axe in that draft unless they want to go like super greedy. But yeah, I don't know if Navi is thinking about some Husker cheese or something. Virtus.Pro might just ban it out. Would still be very scary with the Slaughter here, just amplifying up the physical damage and whatnot. But with Dazzle, you can still make the argument that he offsets that enough. Otherwise, other cores for Navi could be something like a Juggernaut would work out well, I think. It's like something super solid that, as you said, does not get punished too hard in lane, that does not get punished in these mid-game teamfights that Virtus.Pro is presumably looking for here with Moran and the starter already on the field.
Yeah, Juggernaut, Slark is another one that we see picked up very frequently in these type of scenarios. All you need is a Shadow Blade, and that's usually not that hard to get, and then with Shadow Blade and a Stand King on your side, you can catch VP off guard before they catch you off guard. And if that happens, if you're able to take tempo away from the tempo draft, well, you're doing something right, to say the least. This ban is, as you said, pretty much forced. If VP don't ban it out, they have to pick a third, or else they're pretty screwed. Or they're at least in a position where they would, at least be at risk of being cheesed out of the game, and that's never really what you want, especially with stakes this high. So, it's pretty much forced bans there from VP. The Sven one as well, the extra armor, is in a position that could screw over VP pretty hard, especially if VP themselves are looking for something along the lines of a jug.
Yep. Nothing wrong with the bans, absolutely. You just don't want to take the risk of a Huskar cheese, right? It's just not something that's fun playing against at the best of times, so... Alright, now V's second banner, it's a bit more interesting. They opt for the Disruptor. Huh. I guess this is one of these strong heroes that... I don't know, makes me think that they maybe want to pick up some sort of very mobile heroes, but maybe for mid. Something like old school Puck or Queen of Pain, something like that.
Yeah, these are like sheer babysitting heroes that are being banned out from Na'Vi, and VP don't really have heroes that really demand that protection. Again, OD and Drow Ranger, those are the kind of two go-to heroes that are heroes that are great but need protection in order to be great. Mirana and Slaughter can kind of just do it on their own, and VP grab an AA. I mean, it's okay versus the Dazzle, that's for sure, but what this screams to me is that VP have plans for something along the lines of an Alchemist.
It could be, yeah. Maybe they were forgetting that they already banned the Huskar, but yeah, up against the Dazzle, any sort of heals, AA can work wonders, and it really fits into the playstyle, right? I mean, Slada or Mirana just starting with Moonlight Shadow, catching someone out. Slada blinks on someone, crushes into Arrow, plenty of lockdown for AA to line up a good Ice Blast, and yeah, I'm just looking for some super solid mid-game teamfights, snowball for that, but it looks of it.
Lane dominance as well. Of course, when you're with this tempo draft, that VP are looking like they're going to start crafting in their 4th or 5th picks. The earlier you get off to a cart, the earlier you get tempo, the more you can rotate out from your lanes and get kills, spread out your threats across the map. And Ancient Apparition is one of those heroes that has the potential to just absolutely crush a lane, regardless of who's actually in that lane. On his side and on the other side, just Chilling Touch is definitely a spell. Maybe not a great spell up against the Juggernauts, so that is some limitation there for the AA as far as lanes are concerned. Still, I don't... AA, I do feel like you need to either go full on into just absolutely deadly tri-lane, or pick him up, try to protect someone who also has a lot of healing effects. Again, like Alchemist, Slark. I guess Huskar is banned out, but those type of heroes will really make this AA pick great in my eyes. Right now, it's just good to, average. But, Healing Ward, Dazzle, there is some upside there.
Yep. I don't think they'll go aggro here. Actually, just with the Juggernaut, as I said, it's kind of hard to really convert that into kills, and if you don't get kills in an aggro try, then you're essentially losing it for the most part, because you're generally always going to be behind levels. So I just do expect the Ancient Apparition to help out against Sand King up top, just zone him out completely, and do some stacks and some pulls, get his levels that way. Maybe even build into the Midas, just go a bit greedy. But this Beastmaster, what do you think about that one? Because it's also a hero that we have not seen in a long time. Obviously you have that raw lockdown up through Magic Immunity, which could be useful against Juggernaut, but I don't know, outside of that, does it really provide enough these days?
It is definitely a little bit more of a situational pick. A couple teams still experimenting with it. I think Liquid, maybe not most recently, but kind of recently picking up Master for Mind Control, but then again, it is Mind Control on Liquid.
Yeah.
For VP, they have run support Slaughter in the past. That is a thing that they have done. So There is, I guess, definitely a threat for that, and you get the Hawk vision so that Mirana can look to set up for those solo kills, that Ancient Apparition can look to set up for those Ice Blasts, the Roar single target with the Mirana and Slaughter being able to dump damage into that target afterwards with the Chilling Touch and Blast and whatnot. There's a lot of upside for this Beastmaster, but again, you're going into a Juggernaut who's pretty difficult to deal with. You're going into a Dazzle as well. That's really the big problem here for this Beastmaster, is that your target may just not die, period, and then your ultimate, as far as initiation purposes concerned, is kind of just down the tubes, worthless. So VP are definitely pulling something a little bit strange out of the books right now. I'm not sure if it's a support Slaughter. It may just be a support Mirana, but I feel like every single time I see a support Slaughter, they get like a faster Blink Dagger than a core Slaughter. I don't know why that is.
I don't know, some core Slaughters also for the Vanguard here and stuff like that in mid, so maybe that's the reason, but yeah, it's... I don't know, it could still be like a mid Mirana, one position Slaughter, off in Beastmaster, so they could still go back for that aggro try, put the Beastmaster solo safe. I'm not convinced that this would be a good idea, but maybe now seeing the Bounty Hunter, who's probably gonna look to put more emphasis on mid and someone else on the map. Maybe they could feel like they could get away with it. I don't know. I'm not feeling it too much, but maybe that last pick from Virtus.Pro will tie it all together for me.
Well, on the
what was I looking for here? Also looking for mid, but it looks good, unless they want to run the Jugger there.
Seems like VP think that the Juggernaut's going to be handled by Ra, and they're looking for a Dendi hero, which is probably correct. Na'Vi picked up the Bounty Hunter in order to kind of play a very similar game style as last game. The Dazzle is kind of looking a little bit awkward here now for Na'Vi, but there are on the kind of, heroes get gold with Bounty Hunter plan. Pretty standard Bounty Hunter draft here, except for the fact that starting these fights may be a little rough. Lifestealer is the last pick for Na'Vi. I mean, usually when you have Bounty Hunter, you want to be able to get in and get out extremely quickly. Lifestealer will kind of struggle at both of those, actually. Doesn't really have a great way to get into the fights, as Sand King Taxi is pretty good, but of course you need the Blink Dagger beforehand, and you need targets beforehand, and the targets from VP are looking like few and far between, especially now with this last pick, Ursa. Got the Bear from Virtus.Pro. They are looking to cause some chaos. They are just going to run at you.
Yeah, pretty much, and Virtus.Pro actually will give them the upper hand in that, because now the Beastmaster with another hero with inbuilt battle immunity makes a lot more, makes it a lot better, actually, here, having the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut, and especially Lifestealer more than the Juggernaut even, is so heavily reliant on a time in his rage, because if he's not on rage, well, he's not hitting all that fast, he's not all that fast on his feet, generally speaking, so he can kind of easily, and he's very vulnerable with very little armor to speak of. So it's going to be a matter of which team enables their melee cores better. And I think VP just between the Mirana being more of a kind of a space controlling hero if you just control the arrows, if you manage to use those properly, but more so the Slaughter, more than anything else, with that 8-second cooldown on the crush, you can constantly go back in and in again and out, and can really try and play with the timings from Navi's spells when it comes to the Rage, when it comes to the Blade Fury. And also that's the Shallow Grave and whatnot.
I just feel like VP have more hard and soft counters on the field than Na'Vi. Like, you're looking at Lifestealer and Ursa, and Ursa is kind of similar to the Lifestealer in the fact that once you press all your buttons, you want to be able to right-click without being interrupted. Na'Vi don't really have anything to stall up the Ursa except for a Burrow Strike. Like, their control for Ramses is very, very limited. Whereas you look at VP's side, they have Ursa who can just brute force their way through a Lifestealer with Rage. They have Roar, they have Bash, they have Ancient Apparition and his Ice Blast, which may or may not get value against called the Lifestealer. You never know. But it just seems like this Lifestealer is in a really awkward spot matchup-wise, and isn't really enabled by a Storm Spear or anything like that. And Saniko, that's the wrong neighborhood, man. Gets it with the crush. 5-man Chilling Touch. I said it before, I'll say it again. Chilling Touch is a spell. And, well, Saniko is going to be the first one to find that one out. And, ooh, they even get a couple of extra right clicks here onto General, just for value reasons. But, yeah, I feel like VP have so many answers, and Na'Vi, they have to dominate their lanes. And with a whole bunch of melee cores, that's not really super easy.
What it all comes down to with these drafts is that VP's lineup, to me, seems that it's much, much easier to just execute. And sure, it can be a pro team, but the easier it is to execute a lineup, the less room, the the less errors you're prone to make just in the high octane situations. Whereas Navi, as you said, they have to dominate the lanes, they have to get a lot of this bounty hunter, they have to make sure that Juggernaut and Lifesteal are in the perfect place on every single time, and they cannot be crushed 3 times on 3 heroes. Not killing him, Ramses dropping low, he will fall in return. But Soneko with another dust coming out will fall for the 2nd time this game already. And I don't know. I just can't explain this kind of movement.
I mean, they got the bounty runes, so
Yay.
Big win there for Dendi, I guess. They're really leading hard on that spin, but walking into a crush like that and waiting so that the enemy Ancient Apparition has another set of Chilling Touch. If they went earlier, like started the fight earlier, they could have gotten around that damage tool entirely, and they would have at least a slightly better shot. Of course, the rune timing would be slightly off, and there's not really much incentive to go earlier, but just by waiting that long, they're kind of setting themselves up for failure, and of course, walking to that crush, they're doing so even more. VP didn't even have the Beastmaster there. Pasha was just chilling on bottom rune, and he was able to do that one without too much of an issue, so Navi walking headlong into quite a few problems. They're still going to kill off Ramses, but he got 3 assists. He's right back in the lane, and he's going actually going up against a tri-lane, but really a super deadly tri-lane. Like, these heroes can't challenge an Ursa all that well. They can challenge solo. If they find solo, he's in a lot of trouble. But killing off Ursa seems like a pipe dream right now for this top lane.
It's a bit awkward, to say the least, if you don't really have a really good stun to lead off. Like, if this is the Wraith King or something like that, who's just standing next to a creep, you can just throw a stun onto Ramses and then follow up on. That's a different story, but Lifesteal, well, early on, that's lowest prizepool range with the open wounds. They can still get away with it, sort of, right? Just putting on pressure, just because Ancient Apparition is not actually all that good of a lane support up against the tri-lane. And also running this weird dual off lane with the Slaughter and the Beastmaster. So I guess it's what Navi's banking on, just win the top lane, make sure to get some momentum, and then start getting the lifesteal bombs out, because they have pretty good vessels, even before the blink in general. They can just use the bounty hunter invis to try and get it undetected and just pop out and kill them.
We're gonna try to go for Ramses. 2-man Shadow Wave does quite a bit of physical damage. Ursa's fairly tanky. No help in the area for Ramses, but he's just gonna walk it off because he's a bear. Bears that easily. VP are gonna keep everyone alive up towards top lane. 3 heroes, 4 Navi committed up there, are limiting the CS, the Ursa, and there's something to be said for that. But you mentioned this awkward line here. Pasha's had a pretty slow start. Sand King matchup is just generally pretty good up against any given melee hero, and Beastmaster, I would say, is probably one of the heroes closest to an exception, but still not quite an exception. Caustic Finale is definitely something he has to respect, but Courier over in the mid lane. Oh, Lil's chasing it down with sprints. It delivers the bottle, so at least Dendi's able to get that. Is Lil gonna die to this shot? Oh, he's gonna salve. He's still dead though. Well, Courier worth? Maybe.
Well, if he'd gotten the bottle on the Courier, yeah. But as it stands, Navi able to snag that up for himself before the kill comes out. There's just better heroes to do that with. Lil tried to go for the play. But yeah, this support Slaughter, it's like roaming around trying to make something happen. It's a bit weird. And I think as a result, Navi's actually winning all 3 lanes. Like, mid lane's kind of a wash, just because no one can really damage Dandy too much through the Poolman shield. Bottom lane, you talked about it with the Sand King 1-to-1 matchup against the melee hero. I almost would have liked Lil to just get an Iron Tail in jungle, and you would have probably getting more done at this point.
Just by being up here, he is going to enable the Ancient Apparition a little bit more. If you somehow find an angle onto Art Style, then yeah, that guy is going to die really quickly. But this seems like it's pretty much just towards Slaughter. We usually don't see this, but Solo's up towards top lane. He's in a lot of trouble. Shadow Wave again, doing double damage. Ramses is going to try to help out by killing off Dazzle in exchange. With the claws, it's not quite enough. Although there is the Slaughter, so roaming value right there. Dazzle's gonna die to something. One more whack, got him. And he doesn't have the crush in just 1 second. Ichira is gonna get hit with that. He has no mana to rage out. Claws once again are out, and they need one more shot. Got him again. General's gonna come in though. Burst Strike is gonna catch Ursa. Soneko here as well. Ramses is in quite a bit of trouble. He's gonna try to juke into the trees. Caustic Finale is gonna do quite a bit of damage. Okay, it actually just straight up kills him. So there's that. Sand King is a balanced hero. it is ultimately a whole bunch of kills being traded. Actually, Mirana died. Okay, there was a lot more kills than I thought, apparently.
I was mesmerized by the exchange up top, so I did not see how that happens. Especially with that level 6 yet on Dendy. Should really happen. Maybe with Bounty Hunter or someone else helping out.
Did General go like all the way from bottom through mid to top or something? But he's gonna get hit with the cold feet. Crush does well, chain stun forever. One more clap, there it is. No sandstorm shenanigans this game. VP are gonna claim a slight kill lead. Really, the kills are just more or less evenly traded.
Yeah. This game just starts exactly like the first one. Just both teams just trading back and forth. This time around though, Navi with the battle lanes. But with all this trading back and forth, it's kind of being mitigated a decent amount. But they still have a mid laner that can, or both teams really have mid laners that can at some point start trying to have an impact. Both of them can be huge playmakers. Danny now with the Omnislash, not enough mana, so he can't actually threaten no one too much. Going for a spin like that.
That rotation from the Sand King was definitely great for him. Well, Lil is actually going to get jumped on top. He's a fish though, so he's fine because he's in water. But Pasha in the meantime, bottom lane, reaped the benefits of having that Sand King rotate out. Skyrocketed himself for at least a little bit to the top of the last hit chart, and more crucially, he's picked up level 6. So he is ready to teleport in and help should a fight go down, and most likely that's going to be going to go down up towards the top lane. So Beastmaster is now activated, very much so like the Sand King. So VP are, they have all their heroes coming up online level-wise. Farm-wise, maybe slightly less than the Navi side, but not really something they can't overcome, so I think it's pretty much an entirely even game, and at that point we have to look towards Suneko especially. Level 3 pushing level 4 Bounty Hunter is actually a reasonable amount of experience for a Bounty Hunter 7 minutes in. Yep.
The thing about VP is, as long as they all get their level 6s, and as long as they keep up in that regard, they should always be able to give Navi a decent fight here, especially the level 6 on the AA, as well as on the Slaughter. These two supports are going to be huge benchmarks. That arrow almost sits on Suneko as top lane. The lifestealer just gets mauled on.
And they use the roar for that. Yep. Pasha's still going to continue the fight here. Has full vision of absolutely everyone until the Hawk dies. Now they only have a little bit of vision, but they're clumping up. And Lil's going to land. Oh, Crush only onto one hero. Dendy does spin it off, and he's going to go straight to solo with it. Arrow's going to come in from the side. Dazzle's still locked down. And dying shortly. Oh, the Omnislash going to save him. Darkseid's still staying alive. Suneko's gonna stick up. No one falls short in the damage department, and now he's on the run. Has level 2 leap, so I don't think they can actually kill him off here, but those are two heroes that should have been kills for the VP side. Instead, they just lose their two supporters. Avi, Suneko alive in that fight as well, so full experience for the Bounty Hunter closer and closer to that track. It did start out with them losing the lifestealer though. The end may not be totally worth it, but it could have been a lot worse.
I think it was a bit greedy there for Lil, trying to go for the crush on the Juggernaut who had the spin available. But just probably should have just tried to focus on the Dazzle, I believe it was, together with the arrow coming through then from no one. But hey, hindsight 2020. He still has the lead now, Suneko just snacks a DD run away from him. Oof. Still almost ends up dying.
Throws a random arrow for value. Oh, almost got him. Wouldn't have mattered, but it's the thought that counts. So no one's gonna have to go all the way back to the base. That's kind of sucks, but not that big a deal. Pasha, in the meantime, is just gonna wait for another roar, which he does now have. He is approaching that Necro bookmark. Level 3 Necro book is actually incredible up against Navi. Mana burn, return damage, maybe a little more situational, but True Sight as well. Great versus that Bounty Hunter. So Pasha is still getting there. And Navi, with their momentum, it's starting to mount up as well, but again, it can't really take off until this bounty gets level 6. I would have liked this play if Navi kept it around the jungle. Nico farm this lane, or you can go farm heroes. That's good too. I like that play right now. If Solo is a little bit greedy or not, they're just gonna go ahead and dive Solo no matter what. TP, no TPs for Solo. Bad man, he's dead to Ditchera.
Yeah, it was a bit bold there because if there were TPs, then maybe they could have done it differently. But they get away with it. Nice little kill, and don't waste too much time. There's always something that you have to keep an eye on when you think of lifestealers and when they're trying to go for these infest ganks. How much time are they actually spending inside someone else instead of farming something? So this time it worked out, and the Jira Lifestealer, he has been popular like a couple months back for good reason. He can still dash out a lot of single target damage if he gets to this benchmark with the phase, armlets, and Echo Saber Desolator, either one of those.
Any sort of issues that Lifestealer has matchup-wise usually doesn't become extremely relevant until like 25-ish minutes. That's when Lifestealer like has all the damage, is going to be the only one on his team doing significant damage generally, and just isn't able to connect with the hits because of, roars and crushes and Ursa damage responding. But for right now, it's just all strengths here for the Lifestealer. Arrow's going to connect onto the Sand King. He does have a Burrow Strike out. He's going to get all the way through by throwing into the river. I'm not sure if we can call that a glitch, but either way, General is going to get out of there.
Yeah. Looked like it was a bit scary there for a second, but yeah, it's just playing it cool. Burrow striking out. Yeah, General sitting close to the top of the network chart together with Dandy, and he actually went for jumps instead of the blink dagger this game around, but maybe now they can find no one on the slash right into him. No chance to respond.
Yeah, he's super dead. VP are gonna rotate in with the Beastmaster, but with only an AA here with no ultimate, can't really make anything happen, so no one's gonna fall. I don't mind this drum pickup, especially with the fact that you have the Lifestealer and Juggernaut who are farmed enough to just run at the enemies with you. Just popping a jump charge, running at VP, closing the distances behind a Slaughter with Sprint or Murano with Leap. That is very important. They're going to scout Rams in the Roach Pit, but a little bit too late. Grab that double life. Burst strike onto the Beastmaster. Vincere is going to come in with the heal wave onto Pasha, taking a lot of DPS. The roar is there, slowing down the life of their DPS. Danny's going to come in from the north, get a free kill. Ice Blast is going to come in. That will secure the death onto Dazzle in the end. And falling down Danny with the Starstorm there as well. They'll bring him down. 3-for-1 exchange, and I don't think anyone else is going to die here. But Ice Blast coming in, Ramsey showing off how powerful Ursa is against these melee heroes of Na'Vi. Plus, he walks away still having that Aegis win for Virtus.Pro.
Like, if Beastmaster doesn't get the roar off there, that fight turns out much different. But as it stands, he got that off before he dies, allowed Ramses to get a bunch of hits in on lifesteal already. Then Lil came in with his good level with his level 6, with the Amplify, just making sure the lifesteal is really easy to clean up. Then also Ancient Apparition here, Solo also just shortly got his level 6, shortly before that I believe, and hits a good Ice Blast. And these, now you realize, alright, VP is online, right? They can take these kind of fights, and they're gonna be really happy about it, especially in the next 5 minutes with that Aegis.
Dendi, maybe if he had an Omni Slash there, could have looked a little bit different, but he used that to kill off no one who was in that fight anyway. Timing-wise, working out pretty well for VP. They still need to get this farm, right? Like, Lifestealer still needs that armlet, and he doesn't have his Yasha completed just yet, and since you have gone for the drums on the Sand King, starting the fights on Navi's own terms will be pretty situational and honestly a little bit difficult. So the Sand King still needs a little bit of time. Everyone really on the Navi side needs a little bit more time, whereas for VP, they really don't. Again, looking at the Slaughter, it's 13 minutes in. He has 1,700 gold towards his Blink Dagger. I feel like this is like standard Lil Slaughter. I don't know how he does it, but he's always extremely loaded into the game. He's not even sacrificing early game items to do it. Like, he has the Tranquils. Arrow's gonna fly onto Ra, will connect, but he absorbs it with the Rage. And that should get him out of here.
Mine was pumping there for a second, to be honest, but yeah, I just raged off. That's kind of one of the advantages that you have. Having these kind of inbuilt match communities, but yeah, as I said, Lil, once he gets his Blink Dagger, VP is gonna really start rolling. Bit unfortunate timing wise here, because I think by the time he gets it, that Aegis will be done. So maybe a bit of a bummer there for VP, but still, as I said, they're getting there, right? Mirana halfway to Axe. Ursa's doing well, Ancient Apparition has what he needs with that Ice Blast. Now, if you want to go greedy, speaking of Ice Blast, that is, find Ditcher Ra, Spinlinks in. This is a dead Lifestealer with just 1 or 2 more swipes.
Phase, Mask of Madness. Oh, he jumps into the creep! And he's still dead.
Yeah.
Okay,
nice
well,
attempt.
Yeah, it was close, I guess. Points for trying. So, Lifestealer down, and, well, it turns out Ursa's pretty good matchup for the Lifestealer, and, well, he would do something very similar to the vast majority of Navi's heroes as well. Bought a little bit of space for the Slaughter to come and get his Blink Dagger. Level 2 Necrobook now on the Beastmaster on top of that. Both teams are doing decently as far as getting kills and buying space for the cores that actually need it. So I'm not really sure if we can call any huge lead despite what the gold graph may show. VP are slightly ahead, but Navi still have more than enough in order to bring it back into, at the very least, parity. I think with this age, it's like a couple of minutes. This next fight may determine the entire rest of the game because Ramses is prepped to go in. Roar's gonna land onto the Juggernaut bailout. Not gonna happen in time. Ice Blast's gonna come in. He doesn't even have enough mana to Omni Slash right now, so he is just gonna die. Speaking of dying, the Dazzle's gonna go down as well. That's 2 for VP, and they're pushing forward, looking for a third. Amplify damage, not quite get onto the bounty. They will go for the general instead. He is gonna hit with the crush. They do see him, and there's a bear on top of him. Not a good place for a Sand King to be. One more shot from Ramses gets it in. Digiral's gonna find Pasha, but he's all alone right now, and I'm not sure if he really wants to be doing this by himself. It's gonna be a little bit too aggressive there. And VP will back off. Everyone at full HP, everyone at low mana. Pretty much the ideal fight there for VP, and that's how you turn a kind of small advantage to a big advantage. With your items.
They did a really good job just spreading the damage out between them, and even though general he got the blink dagger just shortly before here, just waiting for a good opportunity to reveal instead of just running in. VP just a little bit quick on the trigger finger, and they were just the ones running in instead, which they can do obviously with the Ursa, who doesn't only have an Aegis but also finds himself a region wound just because Volvo likes them apparently. But yeah, just cleanly executed, just go for one after the other, take out some of the biggest damage deals on the back of the spells immediately here. Because then he couldn't get an Omni Slash off, and the Blade Fury also did not end up doing too much as he was the one initiated on. So
Either
VP
side
in a
really
huge
has
power spike right now. They're doing a really good job just pushing the envelope further. Once again now with the smoke down bottom.
Roar has one of the lower cooldowns as far as high impact ultimates in the game. The longest cooldown I think is just the Sand King. I didn't get a chance to use it in the last fight, but these low cooldowns on VP can mean that they can just constantly fights. Like, take a win, don't back off, just smoke up and look for another one, and they might be running into a couple of targets. The smoke is going to break, at least on Pasha, and it seems like Navi going to get out of here without losing any. So at least they avoid disaster there, but they are still gonna have their hands full because the fight is coming to their side of the map. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane is gonna be traded for tier 1 top. Already not a good trade for Navi, and I don't really know if they can even fight this.
Yeah, it's tough because once again VP is starting to turn into the staff ball with like not one but 2 blink heroes that can just jump on you and give you a hard time.
Oh, arrow!
Yeah, oh god. Then, yeah, if you just run in as Navi, there's always gonna be that. There's always gonna be an ice box coming through. Sure, it's still level 1 for us now, but just make sure the Dazzle cannot really help anyone out in a way that allows them to continue the engagement.
Well, Lil's even trapped in the trees, spotted by track, and still Navi couldn't even get that. Hero that literally cannot move. Weren't in the right position to jump on him, so VP get a free pick off without using Roar, and that is a big deal. It means if Navi decide to crack back into a tier 1 right now, VP can still fight that. Getting a freehand arrow is always a threat, and didn't expect it to be a method of initiation there from VP, but hey, whatever works, right? So we're gonna have another one chalk up, and Navi, they're kind of forced to farm in a group. Not what Juggernaut wants to do, that's not what Digirel wants to do. They want to like spread out and farm, but there's really no alternative. There's so much pickoff power here on VP.
It's similar to last game, it feels like almost that Navi was just a little bit too slow, or just a little bit too much respect almost.
Oh, another arrow.
Oh god. Come on.
No one's good at this game. He's pretty good.
VP, they're just turning it up, right? They're not stopping it. They don't have a reason to, even though the Aegis has expired since. But they have all the items there on the peak, so... Thing is, with an Ursa, you always have the argument, alright, that's not really a hard late game carry. He's still susceptible to being kited. So VP probably still on a timer in the grand scheme of things, unless they just build themselves up a ginormous lead. I'm not quite there yet. It's only about 5k in terms of golden experience, so Navi's not out of it yet here. They need to get some items going here. Meta style for Juggernaut is a good start. He has it now. Lifestealer going for Desolator by the looks of it all. Unless that's going to be a big AB.
They also need just to use track, right? Like use track to get kills. I don't think they've actually gotten any yet. They just have to use the Blink Dagger and the Sand King that they have set up for kills. You can get an epicenter in there, fine, but just use their assets. Like in the last couple of fights, VP have started those fights, and before Na'Vi really have a chance to react with any of their own spells, they're already down. Like one of heroes, an arrow lands onto Dendi again. He's not gonna get instant by this, but the rest of his team will. They lose it to Raw. Dendi's gonna get crushed immediately. Before he can use the Omni Slash, turn around for it, wasn't able to cast it in time. General is going to run off to the north. Saniko was spotted by a Hawk, and Ramses is on his tail. They know where he is, but either way, that's still 3 kills for VP, and pretty much like all the other fights, like what I just described. By the time Na'Vi are released from their stuns, they're already mostly dead. Yep. Oh, and another arrow lands? What? Okay, no one has got to calm down. Because he just landed like 3 consecutive arrows. Bounty Hunter.
This is gonna sound really obvious, but they have to stop getting arrowed.
Yeah.
Like they
write that down, put it on the fridge.
Yeah, pretty much. They just have to try and dodge VP at this point because it's pretty clear that they cannot fight them. If they're always gonna be the ones initiated on. So as bad as it sounds, just try to split up the map here, farm in the dire side, because frankly it's much more safer than their own side of the map right now. Let's try and keep VP from going high ground, get yourself some extra core items, and let's try and pull VP apart, and then try and get these pick-offs on the back of the Sand King. I think that's gonna be the biggest hope. Sand King and Dandy actually getting some spells off. He did not in the last fight again. Maybe that makes these fights look a little bit more one-sided than they actually should be.
A big issue here for Na'Vi is that like any one of their heroes is not stronger than any one of VP's heroes, and even like when you're talking about twos, like any 2 Na'Vi heroes aren't going to beat any 2 VP heroes. So they kind of are forced to just together and hope for surprise initiations, hope for Blink Dagger Sand King to finally pay off, land an epicenter, hopefully get a couple of random kills in the jungle with 4v1s or something like that. And they may have a target here in Pasha, but even then he has a Blink Dagger, Necro Book. He is not an easy hero to bring down, plus he's just there's that as well. Dandy may have spotted him. Oh, another arrow from the bounty! How, no one? How? Well, in the meantime, they're going to go in for the south fight. Pasha is going to take a lot of damage. They will lose the Beastmaster first. They don't even gain Taneko. No one actually didn't go for him at all, but Ramses now jumps in. Graves can keep the Bounty Hunter alive, but right now, Ramses, though, is more than okay with going for Ninja Ra instead. He's going to make short work of him. Finally, Epicenter comes in, but it's all blocked by the ulti of the Ursa. Now no one reinitiates. Kills off the Bounty Hunter with a Starstorm. 2-man crush. Going to set up for a couple more. Triple kill for Ramses, and it looks like it may just be another. Gets the first hit fast, canceling the TP of Dendi. You gotta spin away faster, man, because there are a lot of angry heroes on your tail. He's gonna drop to no one. Double kill for the Mirana. VP take like the 4th or 5th consecutive team.
These arrows.
I don't even know like how he knows where the Bounty Hunter is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going for the Bounty Hunter explicitly, but the Bounty Hunter's narrow
arrows or something like hold in on Shuriken. Or I don't know how he does it, but it's been proven to be super useful. I mean, not like the Bounty Hunter's biggest help in the team fight, but this one, in this particular one, would probably help them here just to have extra Shuritas burst damage here and there. But yeah, that was even a fight without the A Ice Blast. And if Solo had gotten that off before he got picked up himself, then that would have been even more disastrous at the stand. So a lot of that went on Will's back, just getting like 3 crushes at the very least that secured the kills. Especially that one where Ursa just had to just one-tap 2 people right next to each other.
And that was even like a pretty decent start, pretty decent fight for Na'Vi, because they actually used their assets that time. They had Pasha that kind of voluntarily separated himself from the rest of VP, so they had a free Beastmaster pick to start things off. But I mean, all of those ways of Na'Vi getting back in, they hinge upon getting a lot of track kills at this point. Even if someone from VP is going to offer themselves up as kind of a free kill, the rest of VP are just so mega farmed that they can just fight 4v5 and won't really hesitate to do so. And they're looking at a couple more. Okay, no one. There is a Bounty Hunter in the area. Can you do it again? No, okay. Well, you know.
Not this time.
Oh.
Castle's curse. Come on, Mike. Why do you have to do this?
I didn't say he was gonna land it. I was asking lightly if he was gonna land it. Oh, they see General with the bird now.
Details. Oh god.
Shell boys, dig and try to TP out. Oh, Bash, it's gonna land at the last possible. They get him, but they also lose solo. He wandered around too far by himself.
Kinda didn't get the memo. Picked him off actually. That was a joint effort here by Lifesteal and Neka, right? I actually want to say it still favors Navi just because it makes VP think twice before committing to high ground at the very least. I don't think they're too worried about this here too. It's not really worth defending if you're Navi at the best of times. So. And by the time they actually go high ground, there's gonna be another ice pass available. It's just gonna get worse and worse, right? Yeah, because if we look at Natus, he just finished up the Aghanim Scepter, which means the one big form of crowd control and initiation Navi have, which is namely the Sand that could maybe net them a kill on him, is ineffective, right? Even if he jumps in with Epicenter, it stuns them up, Rob is still gonna be able to press R and not take any damage, essentially. And then what do you do up against this Angry Bear just sitting in your face?
VP have 4 Blink Daggers to Navi's 1, and they're using them more often, getting more out of it. They're gonna finally find an opportunity here for a couple kills. Perseverance these claws the bounty hunter because that seems fair. They will drop down the Beastmaster shouldn't even trade, but the Slaughter comes in with the crush. On to activate everyone. No one is well with the stars. Dendi drops down very low immediately. They'll lose the Sand King, and Lil's gonna chase after the Juggernaut. They draw Tron up against Ramsey's not gonna happen. The Ursa even has an Aegis. Cage crush onto the Juggernaut. Be a 4-for-1 exchange. Again, that was Navi's best chance. They got like a free Beastmaster pick off, but it's not enough.
That was like a 5v2 for a solid 5 to 10 seconds. And they only managed to kill the Beastmaster. Like, they immediately lost the bounty after that as well. But yeah, Virtus.Pro on fire today, 2 quick wins. A little bit of back and forth here at the beginning of game 1. They were able to turn us around there, and this game just didn't even break a sweat, it feels like.